Well, hello. We are back after a long absence. We're out on the XR on this hot, humid summer day. We just turned off of Route 66. We're on Crane Creek Road, and we're heading out to the Fire Service Road 100. I've been out here several times. This is in my backyard. I actually was going to go further today. I was going to go over to Suches over in that general area. We were going to go to Wolf's Creek Road and do some exploring, but my plans got all twisted this morning, and I wasn't really sure I was even going to go out today because it's just so humid. But all I'm wearing is just a mesh armor jacket, so it's not too bad. But you know, it's way too hot to have a full adventure jacket on, unless you like to just be dripping wet. Anyway, I haven't really been riding that much. Been really busy with work, and I had to do some more things on the XR. It's got brand new calipers on the front and rear. I tried to replace the rear master cylinder, but the aftermarket ones are shit. They don't fit. So I rebuilt the OEM one, and it seems to be working fine. That's the trouble with a lot of crap that comes from China. The shit just does not fit. There's really not that much to the master rear cylinder on this bike. It's just a couple O-rings, and so it's an easy rebuild. But that's all sorted out. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with this bike yet. Sometimes I think I'm going to put it on the market, but ever since I seriously were mentioning about selling it, it has started like on the second or third kick all the time now. It's like, oh, don't get rid of me, I'll be a good bike. But I just really haven't been in the riding mode. Not when it's so hot. I really like to ride in the winter the best. I like to be able to ride with a you know, a regular adventure coat without dying of the heat. Here's my little road here, Ivy Log Gap Road, for if you're trying to find out where I'm going. This is, by the way, close to Hiawassee, Georgia. I've made videos of this area before. This is not like virgin material, but I haven't posted anything in a long time. And if you know me and my videos, you know I really hate to edit videos. I don't mind shooting them, you know, like this. But when it comes time to like clean them up or make them fancy, I'm not crazy about doing it. I think the main reason is because I'm not really good at it, or I'm not used to doing it, or I've been using like Shotcut And like, I might get familiar with some of the, you know, keystrokes and stuff, but then I don't do it for several months, and then it's like, shit, I forget what to do here. So then I get disgusted and just upload the video without, you know, any edits and stuff, because that's just not what I like to do. I like to ride, but I don't like to edit videos. So I'll just shut up. All these Forest Service roads, these are nothing super technical, so I mean, you know, your mom can come out here and run these. And it's been drying out, so we haven't had a lot of rain, which is good, I guess, because I don't like riding in mud. So the creeks are probably down, but we're not doing any creek crossings today. But there for a while, we were getting like just a ton of rain. And I know all the folks that have been doing, you know, like the Smoky Mountain 500 around here or whatever. The water level on like Witt Road has been really high. Charlie's Creek is never usually that deep. And that's a relatively easy water crossing. If you've never done it, it might look a little intimidating because it's a long water crossing, but it's a rock bed and it's all pretty shallow. It's nothing really super sketchy. And that's part of the red route of the Smoky Mountains. I think I've made a couple videos of Tallulah River Road. That comes out on Peterson Gap Road, I think the name of it is. And you take that around, it goes all the way up to like Standing Indian Campground. Then you come down off of 64 and you can hit Rainbow Springs Road, go up to Wyabald. That's all the Smoky Mountain 500. Now these roads should all still be open. They do close this in the winter, but in the summertime both of these legs are open. All the times that I've been riding on this particular track, I have never encountered another bike, and I don't know why, because it's a real easy road to get to, and if you're around Blairsville or Hayesville, Hiawassee, this is in your backyard. Oh, we got some new gravel. Got some new gravel back there. Nothing too serious because it looks like it's been run over quite a lot, but new gravel number 2 stone. Now you see, this is all under the canopy, so even though it's hot as a mother today, it's not bad under here. And like I said, I just have a mesh armor jacket on, so I mean my feet are hot as hell because, you know, I got boots on and wool socks, but I'm not really dying of the heat. Most of the tracks in North Georgia, North Carolina are like this. They have a canopy over the road and it's not really that bad. I can't remember where that one goes. You know, I think I'm actually going to take this one. I'm going to go straight because I want to I haven't been on here in probably 6 months. I think this is the one that, yeah, okay, I know exactly where I am now. Okay, I just saw that gate. This is the one that sometimes in the winter is closed, and several times, like straight ahead of me, I don't know what you can see. Straight ahead of me, you see them rocks on the side there? You got to take your bike up through those rocks when this gate is closed. It's doable. I think I took my XT through there a couple times. This bike is a heavier bike. The XR is a little heavier, and that would have been I could probably still get it through there, but I don't have that energy to do it today. But you know, gate's open. But you can go both these ways. I think this will take you out to Gumlog Road. But this is bone dry. It's like the grass really wants to take this road over. Yeah, this right side looks like it gets all the water erosion. Now the left side over there is all rutted out. Just went through a lot of soft mud. Oh, we got a four-wheeler coming. The first time I've seen anybody on this road. Yeah, when I went through that really soft mud, it's amazing how it changes the feel of the whole geometry of the bike. Felt like I went through like quicksand. I could feel everything like mush out. I knew it wasn't going to be a problem because it was only like 3 feet of mush. If it's a lot of mush, then it's like, oh shit. I don't really like falling down in quicksand or like a lot of soupy kind of mud. I don't like riding like that. As I've gotten older, I've gotten pretty fussy about the riding conditions. I'm not really crazy about riding in rain. I know sometimes if you're on a trip you don't have a choice. But when I was living in Asia, sort of like Florida where it rains a lot because you're in sort of like a tropical rainforest kind of setting, so you have a lot of rain there, and it can get quite heavy, typhoonish kind of rain, and that stuff hurts when you're on a bike. But it's so hot there, you don't mind the stinging raindrops because it gives you a little bit of relief. You see the road is a little gnarly to the right here. You're okay as long as you keep it steady. You don't have to come flying up here like you're on a race. Although some people, that's just the way they ride, but I don't. This bike is, you know, it's got the tractor factor going for you, and I don't even have this bike geared that low. Some people gear these, especially the people that don't have them street legal and don't even care about taking them on the road. They'll gear these bad boys really low. So you almost never stall in those situations. If you've had an XR long enough, you're always covering your clutch no matter what terrain you're on, because you don't want to stall it if you don't have to. After you've owned a kickstart bike, that will make more sense to you. But you know, ever since I've had this bike, I've never taken it on anything super gnarly. Well, I should rephrase that really, because I don't even do super gnarly shit anymore. But you know, if you're a younger guy or gal, if you're in your 20s or 30s, kickstart should not be an issue. But if you have bad knees, or you're just getting older, it can become an issue. But these Xr400s are iconic bikes. They really do have a cult following. Some people turn them into supermotos. I'm not really a supermoto anything kind of bike. I'm not supermoto material. But people do, you know, put street wheels on these, because these bikes are very torquey. But people gear them up and put their street tires on, and you know, I guess if you're into supermotos, you know, whatever floats your boat, basically. I mean, there's actually better riding around here, like for dual sport riding, than when I was living in San Diego. And yeah, okay, I know it's real close to the desert, but I would have to ride a minimum of an hour either on the bike or throw it on a trailer to get to any place that you'd want to ride to. I mean, I had some favorite spots that, you know, I could ride after work and be there in a half hour or something, but it was mostly all sand crap, you know. Southern California desert is mostly soft sand, a little bit of rock. You have to go up to the higher desert to get the hard pack stuff, which I like better. I'm not a huge sand person. I mean, but it's popular there, especially like out by Glamis. That's where all the sand dunes are. You know, people have their paddle tires on, or they're, you know, riding in their four-wheelers and stuff. I never really got into the Sahara sand scene, but it's very popular. People spend weekends out there. Talk about hot. Well, you can't. Nobody in their right mind goes out there in the summer. It's a wintertime thing. Because it's probably 120 out there right now, so you can pretty much figure out how comfortable that would be. But you have a long desert riding season, so, but pretty much Southern California is pretty sandy, so if you're not used to a sand rider, you either have to learn pretty quick or you're not going to be a happy rider. It's all what you get used to. It's all how you can set up your bike. Tire pressure does have a little bit of a role in it. I can't understand why people want to take huge adventure bikes out in the deep sand, because that's just it's an exhausting workout is what it really is. So unless you're in like top physical shape, it's not going to be an enjoyable time on a big heavy bike. Anyway, as you can see here, this is all very hard packed, all very easy. If you're just getting into dual sport riding, if you're in this area, check it out. Okay, you're not far from really anything. I mean, you know, if you need gas or something, you're not really that far. You don't have to, like I said, this is like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours from Atlanta, hour from Suchess. Clayton's not far, Helen's not far, just to give you, you know, Tellico Plains is not far, just gives you an idea of where we're riding. Oh, my camera is still recording. What do you know? I always hate it when I make the effort to actually make another, and then I look down and, you know, the camera's all jacked up or something. That's the other joy of making YouTube videos. I use a Sony Action Cam that basically hasn't changed in, I don't know, 10 years. Seems like GoPro is always doing updates and different models, but I don't think Sony's really too concerned about the action cam market. Although this camera, when it first came out, it was far superior to whatever the latest GoPro model was, as far as stabilization and stuff like that. In fact, there's still buttons and menus on here. I don't have a clue what they do. But, you know, that's partly because I'm not a computer guy. I hate editing videos. So think the last time I went the other way, I came up the other way just at the beginning of the season when all the gates were finally open. And the time before that is when I came by and that gate that I showed you was locked. Oh, look at this tree's about ready to come down. I'm glad it didn't come down right now. I don't have my saw with me. So, like I said, I don't know the fate of Hooper here, the XR. I've been spending a lot of time mixing music and I work outside, so I'm always, especially this time of year, it's really rough. So when I do take a day off, like I did today, when it's really hot and humid like this, it's like, do I really want to put any kind of gear on and ride, you know? But to be quite honest with you, this is not really bad. I'm not dripping. You know, it's not like a November day, of course, but this is okay. And you can tell from the video, I mean, you know, you have little pockets of sun here, but the majority of these fire service roads, you know, like I always make mention of, it's under a tree canopy. And in the winter, when there's no leaves, it's not bad because it's so much cooler. You don't mind it with the sun on you. But if this was just all out in the sun, like when you're in the desert, of course, the sun is always on you. So now, if you get a lot of rain, these roads can have patches that are, you know, that slimy clay shit. And if you don't have a good set of knobs, that's no fun. I've known some guys, they like playing in the dirt. They like coming home and they look like dirt babies. I can do without that shit. So, you know, we only had that one pickup truck that we saw, and this track, with my calculations, is almost over. But as you can see, only really the first part of this really requires you to stand up for better traction, for better control. But a lot of this, if you like to be lazy, you can easily do it on your seat. But if you're coming from the opposite direction, or if you come like from the way I came, all of the uphill parts, I normally stand because it's a lot easier to throw this bike around when you're standing on the pegs and sitting on the seat. I had a guy ask me about the XR. He said, "It's the only green XR I've seen." I said, well, you can make it any color you want. It's just everybody's used to the red and white XR. I said, you know, you can get all new plastics for this bike and it will look like any other XR. But that's one thing that I didn't, when I got this bike, you know, the plastics are the same plastics that are on it now, and they've seen better days. They're all scratched and beat to hell. And I just rattle canned this green on here. But, okay, so this is the end, as you can see. And we're out on Gumlog Road. And if you stick with me, you'll see where Gumlog Road comes out. Nice old Beetle. Oh, this bike needs 6th gear. You know, I really think Honda could bring this XR back if they made it a 6-speed gearbox, if they got rid of the kickstart, if they did a little upgrade on the suspension, and if they put grease fittings on the swing arm. Hello? But the basic engine in this bike is really bulletproof. It's a very easy engine to work on. It's a very easy engine to adjust your valves. You don't have to screw around with shims and buckets and all that crap. It's air cooled, so you're never going to break a radiator. Now, some people put CRF front ends on these, but as I always state, I am not a technical rider, so really this suspension has really been fine for me. But if you're more of a performance rider, you know, the same way I'm running the stock carb, I rejetted, of course, and cleaned it, but I don't have the need for a pumper carb. Well, some guys absolutely love them. Other people have a hell of a time to get them dialed in. But I really can't say that, you know, my bike is hard to start because I still have the stock carb. That's all bullshit. If your 400 has a clean carb and the valves are adjusted properly, your decompression system is adjusted properly, and it's all in good nick, they're not hard to start. Okay, if you're wiped out, if you've been riding hard and you stall it on a hill, yeah, it's a bitch. That's the bottom line. But, you know, my technical days are long over. It's actually good to get this old girl out. She hasn't probably run in a couple months, actually.